Good morning, everyone. Boy, I am going to make a smooth transition one of these days. How are you today? This is Jim the Keys Bartender coming to you from Key Largo. It's a beautiful, steamy day here. It's weird. It's just like jungle hot. We've had a couple days of rain, and it's July 4th weekend. Tomorrow, it just seems like always this time of year, even though it's normally pretty temperate, right on July 4th, it's either raining or it's freaking hot or both. So we have humongous traffic coming into here. As always, July 4th falling on a Sunday. It's Saturday. I decided I might want to run to the bank and go to the gym down south. But that was not to be. A lot of traffic. We got the Miami crowd coming in and all that stuff. I want to talk briefly about the trip to the supermarket. I went to the supermarket. We're in a tourist town. A lot of Airbnb. People are loading up for a day on the water. And with Airbnb, the reason I said Airbnb, a lot of people have full kitchens. So they're shopping and getting a lot of that stuff done in the morning. It's beautiful now, though. It's a shame to waste it on the water because you never know when it's going to start raining again. And plus we have, I think it's Elsa, Hurricane Elsa. It downgraded to a tropical storm, but it's always something. You got to prepare for that. I don't think I'm necessarily going to put up the windows yet, the storm shutters yet. We could get a bit of rain out of it. We could get nothing. It keeps on tracking a little west. Who knows? Because whenever you got to pay attention to those things. It's just one of the things about the forecast. If they go, people say, I make a big deal about it. Some people were worried about it. Other people's not. Normally, it's the people that are somewhat new to the area and haven't gone through a couple of them. So it looks like we're probably going to have a couple of these to keep an eye on this summer into fall. And I have considered I have about 2 days worth. I got to go and fill up my propane tanks. I should do that in the morning. That's the one thing I should do. Do that tomorrow morning when I wake up. Maybe around 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock's the magic hour down here. You get the people going out on their, going on fishing trips and all that stuff. And then you have the late risers. So you're right in between that stuff. So I'll get my propane tank filled, my backup propane, just in case. But I really only need like 2 days worth of heat or something like that. Plus I have peanut butter and tuna fish. I got to start eating down my stuff in the freezer if I intend to go to Poland. And it looks like I'm going to Poland. Oh, it looks like my dinner's ready. I'm going to pause this for a second. I'll be right back. My dinner, my lunch. So I'm going to take my stuff off the stove and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So, where was I? I decided I wanted to go down south, do a little workout, hit the bank, and the traffic is crazy already. When it's backed up to the light, there's only, I have to say traffic signals. There's between here and 50 miles south, there are 2 full traffic signals, 1 pedestrian crossing where they have a signal there that stops. So it's over 50 miles of it's a highway, but there's residential roads entering right on there. So you got to be careful. So it's the holiday weekend. I should, if I wanted to go, I should have got up early, and I was up early, but I didn't get moving. So I get to the supermarket. There's a lot of people loading up the cars and all that stuff. And as I'm leaving, I won't go through the drudgery of what I bought. It wasn't too bad. It was a little crowded in there, but they had plenty of cashiers checking us out. As I'm leaving, I see these 2 guys with a jet ski towing behind their truck. And the guy has the tailgate down on his truck, and he's just making his sandwiches and stuff like that. And there's shit going all on the floor, on the parking space. And I just pull up and I look at him, and I'm ready to say something. I just realized I'm not going to start my day this way, getting in an argument with these two assholes. They come to town and they just trash the parking lot in there. There's trash cans around and stuff like that, but they're in a hurry. They're getting their shit, and they open up the water case of water that they have, and they throw the plastic anywhere. They're drinking bottles. It's just all the trash goes on the ground. And luckily we clean up around there, but it's just like there is zero respect for it. And I realized if I went and said something to them in the long run, let me stop this so my dog will, okay, there she is. She stopped. She's barking at cats. So if I said something, I played the tape forward and I thought, if I said something, would these guys learn anything? No. Would they stop doing it again? In this instance, they may have cleaned up, but they may have decided to be retroactively doing it and just trash it to get at people like me. No, but they leave shit all around, these people. And I'm not trying to stereotype who it is. It tends to be people, Miami people, because they have their jet skis and things like that they're coming down with. And they get their cases of beer, they bring their barbecue, they set up shop wherever they can drop their jet skis in. Luckily, there's not a lot of places anymore for that. And you think, well, that's not good, right? No, well, you know what? These people don't respect it. It's just there's zero shits given about the amount of trash they just leave out there. But I'm not gonna spend my time bitching about it because I'm not gonna teach them a lesson. They grew up this way. They're gonna be that way. And me saying anything would just put me in a shitty mood. And I have an opportunity to air my grievances on the air, which I did. So I'm over that. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I'm looking forward to the rest of the weekend being busy. Last night we had a nice crowd early. We didn't get too many late people. We had a new musician in named Tony and a young Cuban guy who was playing traditional Cuban music on his guitar. It was beautiful, really lovely. And tonight we have Richard, who's a guitar player, who shows up, Richard and Kelly. And she has an absolute lovely voice, and Richard's a wonderful guitar player. We're not a big venue, so a lot of people, when they come in last night, the guy that came in wasn't used to, I don't think he's used to playing this small a venue because his volume was way high, and he had a lot of feedback. I think he's used to playing outside more often than inside. I think maybe I'm going to talk to him next time about that. I said, listen, you lost a lot of people coming in because your volume was too high. And I'm not saying that haphazardly. I had a couple that came in and they like staying here and they just said it's just too loud in here. The music's too loud. And they get up and leave. And that didn't change it. And the guy was promoting his music and all that stuff. It just didn't. If you have a small space, you should take that in consideration with the volume you have. I mean, these guys should have decibel meters. I'm taking them when I hear the phone, I don't even answer the phone because I can't hear it. And I'm busy at the bar. I can't take the phone outside. Outside, our back patio is less than 25 feet away. But it really, on a busy holiday weekend, I really can't leave. Funny thing about that, though, with that the phone ringing and all that, I went to grab the phone after we had closed. And I was going to handle it nicely. I'm saying, I'm sorry, we're not closed. It's 11 o'clock. We close the kitchen at 10. And they, oh, where are we going to eat? And I said, I don't know. I'm sorry. You know what? I realized that you just got off. Most people are just getting off planes and they're just getting down here on a busy weekend. No, we've been here since 4. Oh, we've just been hanging around in a bar that didn't have any food. And I said, well, you made a wrong calculation about being hungry. You wanted to drink more than you wanted to eat. Now you can't really eat. So now your options at 11 o'clock, you have Denny's. So good luck with your Grand Slam breakfast. But they do have a bar there, so you can continue your drinking. It always piques my interest that people that spend their whole day drinking in a place that doesn't have food and then decide they want to eat, and then they show up and it's closed, and then they get angry. I wonder where their anger is placed. Where are they putting it? Is it on me? Is it on the establishment? Is it frustration at themselves? I'm saying, listen, if you want to really have a conversation with the person that's kept you from having a meal, all you have to do is walk in the restroom, look in the mirror. You fucking waited too long. You should always, I suggest this, if you decide you're going to go out and drink, eating is always a good idea. Now, we did talk about the previous episode about how a lot of people have issues. Now, vacation's different. That's the nice thing about those all-inclusive resorts you go to. When they always have some food venue open. I love going to them. I'm not going to mention it because I don't have, I went to Sandals, Jamaica on my honeymoon. And they had a kiosk where they served jerk chicken, hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken sandwiches, roast, like I said, roast jerk chicken, fried potatoes, French fries. And you could just go and eat. And then there's a bar right over there. Or you can order food at some of these nicer bars that they had at their resort. And they had the restaurants and all that stuff. You just go up and get dressed to your room, and then you come down. Easy as pie. And you just keep on eating, but when you're at the leisure, you're attending at the leisure of the closing and opening of private restaurants that aren't on a resort. You got to do your homework. We have people heading down to Key West. I remember Key West. Key West is a little later than Key Largo, the way they stay open. But it's even drinkier because you have Duval Street and it's 11:30, and I guarantee you there are people walking up and down Duval Street right now with drinks in their hands. Rum punches, beers, those, not bottled beers, but those aluminum can bottles, frozen drinks, pina coladas, all over the place. 11:30. Yep. Soon. And it keeps on going. And it reaches its peak around 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. And it'll still be busy around 11 and things like that. And then it really drops off. Because the lion's share of the population started so early, you don't get a real late crowd. And it's not an enforced curfew or anything like that. Just the way things are. If you start drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're usually done at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. That's a lot of drinking down there. Now, back there. Tropical storm or hurricane? It's a tropical storm right now, or Elsa. This is the normal pattern that we have with these storms. You hear people thinking, you're gauging, should I put my storm shutters up? Should I close things up? Some people have the impact windows and don't really worry about anything until it's above a category 1. Other people have shutters they can close just by, mechanically close, and they don't have to. And then people with houses that were were built before Andrew, or around that time, they got these aluminum shutters or wooden shutters they put on. And you need that. You need that because of winds. When you get a constant 70 mile per hour wind, tropical storm, which I'm guessing that we're going to end up with some wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour, and that's it. So not needing any, maybe 40, 45, not needing any shutters up. Yeah, that's going to be enough to knock some limbs down and things like that. Sustained winds of 30 miles an hour. And with all the rain we had, there's some trees will come down. But we won't lose, most likely won't lose any power. We'll get a little rain. I'm on the high end of the island, or where I am is the high end. But there's other places. They're not going to fare so well. Duval Street, if they get like an inch or two of rain, there's going to be a foot of rain on Duval Street, a foot of water. And you'll be slogging around through that. And it won't stop things. Places will stay open. Because most of the bars are up a step or two. It's always fun when you're on Duval Street, if you are a drinker, to stop in the smallest bar. That's right connected to, it's the front side, though a separate bar that's connected to the Hog's Breath Tavern. And it's a fun place, and you can start, you have people that do the whole Duval crawl. The nice thing about there's restaurants along the way. There's Angelina's Pizza. I don't even know if that's open anymore, but I think it is. There's a couple Italian places, a couple, burger places. There's Jimmy Buffett's place. There's Margaritaville, tourist traps. Yeah, Margaritaville, Fat Tuesdays. Flanagan's. Is Flanagan's? I forget the name of that place. And then, of course, you have the Garden of Eden. Everyone asks about the Garden of Eden when you go to the nude bar. It takes a special kind of person to go to the Garden of Eden. And when I say special kind of person, to really enjoy it. Unless you're one like a pervy gawker and you just want to see naked people. If it's probably opening at the moment as we speak right now. The Garden of Eden is on the third floor of where the Black Bull is. Right, I think right near where Truman runs into Duval Street, or a block away. And right in the middle of Duval Street. When I say middle of Duval Street, not in the middle of the street, but middle of the whole crowd. Right as you get into the busy section of the bar section, where all the bars are lined up. So you go upstairs. I think they have lockers for your clothes. You can go in there and get naked. For the adventurous, you just take your clothes off. It's hard. The bad thing about being naked is carrying your money and your identification and all the stuff you need. Unless you have if you have an Apple Pay on your phone, and I don't know if they accept that, but that would be awesome. You just have to carry your phone. You got to be careful, lock it, and do the biometric locks on it, so it's only your hand that can open it, your fingerprint. That may work, but you still got to carry your phone, and you're naked with holding a phone in your hand. One of the better things to have in your hand when you're in public, because you could have standing there naked, have your dick in your hand or your boob in your hand. No judgment there, but there is, even among nudists, there is polite behavior. No bending over to tie your sneakers to give someone a shot of the anus or your ball sack. I'm not throwing that in there. I'm just saying there's certain courtesies you have to have when you're naked. Keeping, not doing too many wide stances. Maybe not getting a raging hard on, because that makes people uncomfortable. So if you're on any type of male enhancement or ED medication, you may want to lay off it if you're going up there. It's hard to talk to people when you have a raging hard on. But if you go up there right now, the older people will probably be coming in to get on the lounge chairs. And I guess if I was getting on one of those sun chairs, I would definitely have to bring, even though sunlight's the best disinfectant, I would definitely have to be bringing those Clorox wipes. I'm going to take a pause right now. I might have a notary thing coming in. Come right back. Hi, we're back. Yes, it's a holiday weekend, so tons of notary work because there's no notaries available. So I get that call. That's nice. So I was talking about naked etiquette. You know, there's drinks and all that stuff. And you got to be careful. I guess when you're naked, you got to be careful with the hot drinks, the hot food. I'd be careful eating the fajitas if you're at one of those resorts because you got that hot fucking plate. You don't need to be dropping that stuff. Or anything like stuffed jalapeno poppers because that cheddar cheese is like napalm when it drips on you. It just sticks to you. So, yeah, keep yourself dry when you're down in Key West. It's a busy weekend now. And to get back to Elsa. So, everyone's watching it. They're going to be coming. Right now, it's a little south of Haiti or passing Haiti. And I guess tomorrow it'll be near Cuba. It's moving pretty fast. And probably Monday night, Tuesday morning, if it doesn't slow down, it'll blow through here or through, I guess, a little west of Key West. That would be pretty nice. If it goes west of Key West, we're probably not going to see much of anything except some feeder bands of storms coming through. But this is what we do in this time of year. Local bars, they leave the Weather Channel on. They watch tropical storms, and they get kind of angsty about it when you see it. And you just know now, after years of being here, that until it gets near you, it's really nothing you could do. It's really nothing at all you can do. It's like the way NASA handles asteroids. There's asteroids out there, and they're going by Earth. Some are getting closer, some are further away, some are smaller, some are larger. And one of those days, but it's in a longer time period, there's going to be a big one that hits us, just like it did maybe like 75 million years ago. It caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. And it formed the Gulf of Mexico. There was a big asteroid that formed the Gulf of Mexico. Or a comet, whatever it was. So you just look at it, you see where the track's going. They'll have like the way we view it here. You learn so much about hurricanes. They use these hurricane hunter, the Air Force or NOAA, National Organization of National Oceanographic, whatever. The weather. They track the weather. And then you got the Weather Channel. You got fucking Jim Cantori. Jim Cantori shows up in your neighborhood. You know that you better start putting your storm shutters up. Jim Cantori is the main correspondent for hurricanes on the Weather Channel. And he's, after Jimmy Buffett, I'd have to say Jim Cantori is one of the most famous regulars in the Keys. He comes down here a lot. So if he shows up in your neighborhood, load up on canned food, propane, water, and batteries and candles. Did I miss anything? Bread. If you like bread or crackers, you know. There's bread, people, crackers. P to people, right? P-I-T-A. So, from watching that, they have all these models. And they're software programs developed by organizations. There's the European model. There's the NOAA model. You see these lines, and there'll be like 20 different tracks that they have. And one will say, it's like betting on something, the odds. And the further out it is, the less likely it is to happen. So this storm will come in, this hurricane or whatever, and some of these tracking, and they're usually right about the wind speed. They have been wrong about tracking when they weaken and they go in. Sometimes they skip around like crazy, like a tornado. Tornadoes are very, what would you call it, ephemeral, or what's that word that you want to use for that, where someone is whimsical, just goes on its own. So you got to watch these hurricanes, and they'll have this one track, and they'll come bring it forward to the west, and they have one track they'll bring it right up through Key Largo, Miami, but they'll take an average all that, and that's where they get the cone of certainty. And here they call it the cone of death. Though nowadays, if you do prepare, it's hard to find a way to die. It's not like, I mean, obviously if it sparks a hurricane or a tropical storm sparks a tornado and you're stuck in a tornado, or you're doing something stupid, and some people have very capricious, that's the word I was looking for, living arrangements. Meaning they don't have a really stable home environment. You have trailers and things like that. Some people even live in tents in the mangroves. Though every so often Monroe County goes and clears them out. We do have a lot of people that list their address in Monroe County as the streets of Key Largo, the streets of Islamorada, the streets of Marathon, the streets of Key West. A shitload of streets of Key West. If you go into Monroe County Police Blotter, which I should check today. That would be a good idea right now. We'll do a check on that. You'll see that a lot of people in Key West, people that are arrested for either theft, brawl, or property crime, list their address as the streets of. And I don't begrudge them the chance to live here, and a lot of people are angry at that and stuff like that, but hey, it's just the way it is. Homeless people come down here just the same reason. They pick the same reason as people that moved down here and they're sparking the real estate boom down here. But I realize the real estate boom isn't just here, it's also in the rest of the country. And not only the rest of the country, it's in Poland. Yeah, it's in Poland because you can see the property prices going crazy. Okay, here we got Monroe County coming. It'll be interesting. I'm not going to go that far back. Let's see. When I get on the 3rd. Oh, today's the 3rd. So these are people that were arrested after midnight. We'll go to the 2nd. Let's get that. We'll start from the beginning at the changeover. See, some smiling faces look like partiers and stuff like that. Oh, here we go. There we go. City address. Here we go. Homestead. Young fella. Man, what are you doing? Drug possession and stuff like that. Holy shit. Okay, drugs, marijuana, possession. Key West. Let's see. Oh. People look familiar. Yes. It's one of the things that we do down here. Just look at, you say, well, I'm going to see if any of my friends got arrested. But DOI, not necessarily the underhanded one. When you see an out-of-county warrant, you always go, oh, well, they were stopped for something else. And then they do a background charge. Okay, there we go. We go to first, streets of Key West. Occupation, unemployed. I'm not going to say the guy's name. The Irish last name, 50 years old, probation violation, a DUI, reference DUI, enhanced. Was he must have been driving 2 cars at the same time when maybe he was driving one of those trucks that was carrying other cars. So, yep, guys, his streets of Key West, that's a shame. That is a shame. I do not make light of that. Another young fellow in Key West, but he has an address. Another key. Now, this is 3 of them. Oh, this guy looks like Paul Simon Flores. It says trespass on a property other than instructional conveyance, streets of Key West. Occupation gardener. Poor guy. Man. Here we go. Nail tech bartender in Tampa. Probation violation. Here we go. No, that's streets of Key West. 52-year-old guy. He looks a little older than me, but he's younger. Probation violation, moving vehicle violation. Oh, he lives in Keystone, but he has a vehicle. Guy's doing well for himself. Well, not by it. He can use a little. Looks like he can use a little sunscreen. So that's 3 of them. Oh, this young guy, he has a bulletproof vest on him. What did he get in trouble for? Failure to appear. Oh, driving without a driver's license. Why does he need a bulletproof vest? It looks like Streets of Marathon. 43-year-old guy. And there's just as many white people as other minorities. This guy's a career offender. Failure to register as a career offender. Decided to move down here. Gosh, probably one of those people that got left behind. Lovely lady. Conditional release. Who's she? Boat captain. Whoa. Got a little fight. Yep. Got a little fight because of the cut below his eye. 52, a couple years younger. Doesn't look so hot either. Hard life to have battery on an officer. But he doesn't have. Let's see. Homestead. I don't know her. I don't know this guy. Oh, he's visiting Marathon. Key West. Streets of Key West. Oh, this guy's 48. He looks like he has problems with his teeth. Unknown charges. Do you see? Driver. Oh, this guy's. He looks fucked up. Oh, he's a driver. God. He was arrested up in Key Largo. He looks like he was fucked up. 43 years old man. You're not going to get your act together when you're 43, right? I did that. Who knows? Homestead, young fella. That's a shame. Marijuana possession. What's this guy? Doesn't look very happy. Alcohol. Moving violation. Marijuana. Yeah. He hit. Not the trifecta. That's the daily double. DUI. That's a single. Out of county warrant. That's like walking. Oh, that's pretty much it. Not too bad for those. I didn't go far back, but usually when on a holiday weekend, there's a lot of people down here, so they're probably going to let the people that have minor violations, open container violations, stuff like that, and they're not going to give them a hard time, so there would be a lot less incidents from the homeless people coming in. But they're here. They're still here, and there's the local ones you see all the time. I haven't seen much of the man. We have this guy. He's around 6'10", and he wears all white. And he's always when the rainy weather's around, he has a plastic bag over him, and he has some kind of white cardboard on top of his head as sun protection. He has a beard, and he has it kind of tied in a ponytail in the front. And the guy never talks to anybody. He's been down here for at least 12, 13 years. And you see him. And he lives on the streets. And you see he does the dumpster diving and all that stuff. But he's always wearing clean white clothes. They look clean. Everything's white. You never see him in black flip-flops or whatever, and he just walks down with his bags up and down the bike path. And then we have the hairy back guy on his bike, and he has a empty banana box where he carries all his stuff in on his handlebar. He doesn't have a basket. And if the weather, you rarely ever see that guy wearing a shirt. Never see that guy wearing a shirt. He's riding up and down and back. And then there's another guy. I don't know if he's homeless, but he looks to be about 70 years old. All his hair is kind of like dark gray or white. And you see him, he likes to dye his beard, and his beard is always jet black. Yeah, and you see these people, those up and down, and they don't get arrested, those people. They know who they are. They don't get them in trespassing. They seem to know where to stay, where they're not on someone's property. A lot of these homeless people, when they get busted, when it's raining, they'll go into an incomplete construction site and take a little shelter from the storm. And if someone finds them there, they charge them with public order crime or trespassing. I myself don't think it really works if you do that, because once you get them, when you arrest them, and you arrest them enough to get under the care of the county, and they have to stay in county lockup, and a lot of times, especially when it's really hot, the county lockup, I imagine, I hope, that it's kind of air conditioned and get decent food and facilities. So it's not necessarily, doing some property crime and stuff like that. They're not really horrible people. People look at them and they say, oh, that's hard. What's really bad is the people that are reckless driving. That's the one. These homeless guys rarely ever hurt anybody, except each other maybe sometimes. But these people that are coming down the road, and a lot of locals driving haphazardly, and tourists, they're just in a hurry. It pays if you come down here not to be in a hurry. What are you going to do? So I'm going to be going into work. I just had a call for someone around the corner to come and do a job for them, a notary job. And they want it, most of the times people find it, especially on the weekends, a holiday weekend, there's no available notaries in the Keys. You can find one, you're up in Miami, you can find one lickety split, with some places open, some places there's a title company, there's something that someone will do it. But the thing about notaries, the reason why a lot of people aren't open on these days is a small town, it's not worth it. There's restrictions. The state put restrictions when they issue a notary, give you a commission on what you can charge for a signature. And since I'm mobile, what I do is I charge for the travel. But because of the traffic, I don't do it during on the busy weekends, because it actually is counterproductive. But this one happens to be right around the corner from me, and I should have no problem getting there on the way to work. Single signature, no problem. Well, I got big plans this week. I got to start looking for a ticket to Poland. And the price, I'll tell you, buying an international ticket within 4 weeks, what a pain in the ass, because you're paying out your ass for a ticket. But luckily, I think I might know someone from the crew of the plane. I don't think that's going to help me with purchasing the ticket, but it definitely would help me on the flight over. It's a shame I'm not drinking anymore. I don't know. International flights, I don't even know if they're offering liquor anymore and stuff like that, especially in the United States, because of the rise in incidents on airplanes with between the crew and the passengers. On one hand, I'm going to look for one seat, probably in the probably an exit row or front row, and pay an extra $100. So I don't have to have somebody lean back. And I'm not one of those guys to move my seat right back. I have to check, see who's behind me, and ask them. I say, hey, do you mind if I move my seat back? But who sleeps that much? You can move your seat back a little. But who knows? Who knows with that? I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of seats available because it's that time of year. It's just that time of year that they're reopening, and people aren't unsure about their traveling plans. A lot of people aren't doing international. So you see the airline tickets. People say when they get in with a week, the price of a ticket goes up until you get really right on top of it. Sometimes they have availability. They could drop it down to, I may save another couple $100, $300-$400. But I don't really care. I'm willing to pay the difference just to get out of Dodge for a little while and see a different place. I've been here. I did go to Naples. I did go to Naples last August. Naples, Florida, not Naples, Italy. But I'd like to hit Europe for a little while. Go there, maybe go into the Czech Republic, go on a little trip, 2-day trip, check out Prague. I've never been there. Maybe go into the Ukraine. I'm not going to drive because they fuck you over when you're driving in a rental car and you go over the border. They'll try to get another $500 from you. So what I'll do is probably take a train there. And I can rent a car for a day trip or pay someone. If you're going to one of these countries, especially Ukraine, I think the standard of living, you can get a really good deal. I know there's a little civil war going on in the eastern part of the country, but I'm generally probably staying west of the Ukraine. What I ideally would like to do is hit Croatia, Dubrovnik on the Adriatic coast. They did a lot of filming for Game of Thrones, if you guys are familiar with that. But up until then, and I'll probably do some podcasts. They may be the handheld ones I use with my phone. Maybe I'll bring a microphone, but I don't know how much it'll work. I have my Chromebook. My Chromebook and a little microphone. We'll see how that works out. Probably do 2. I'll probably do 3 in one day. Because I don't know how much the wife will really appreciate that. But I'm going back with her. It's not like... And if I do get quarantined, that's all I have to do. If I'm quarantined, I'll have to stay in the house. I'm not going to go over there if I'm quarantined for 7 days. Because who the hell wants to stay in quarantine for a week when you have a 2-week vacation? I could do that fucking here. And I did do that here. Like the rest of everyone in the world, quarantine. But I'm going to do it. It looks like in Poland, the border guards are allowing people that have been vaccinated with a recognized vaccine, not Clorox, or something they use in the European Union. So I have my vaccination card. I have my hard copy, my soft copy. So, you go to Office Depot and they'll make you a card, a copy of your card so you can go, travel with it. I'm hoping that I don't get put in quarantine because they do have stiff fines if they do. I don't want to call it welfare checks. I guess it would be called security checks or health checks. And if you're caught, they have a very stiff fine. And they can compel you to pay the fine because they don't have to let you out of the country. Remember that. They don't have to let you, if they charge you a large enough fine for a violation, it would behoove them to say, well, you cannot leave until you get pay or come to some agreement. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm not going to violate quarantine if they get in there, but I hope I won't fly there and find out afterwards. Because you fly right in and they'll do you, they'll tell you, right now they say Americans that are vaccinated are allowed in Poland. That's all I needed to know. And then you don't have to quarantine. And if I have to when I get there, if they say I got to take a test, I'll go and take a test. I'll take a quick test. Avoid the quarantine. This is Jim the Keys Bartender. I appreciate you for listening. Remember, my email address is jim@keysbartender.com. If you are in the area, please come and see me at the Catch Restaurant. I'm there most nights, not all nights. I'm not there Tuesday and Thursday. And this weekend, I'm working doubles on Sunday and Monday. So it's good that I have this extra show in the bag. Because I won't be able to do one tomorrow. I'm going to get up tomorrow after working tonight and work a double, and then work a double on Monday. And maybe I will get... I'll bring my notary stamp in. It's nice to make a couple extra bucks there. You know what I mean? I'm always about making a couple extra bucks. You know, I think of it as a tank of gas here, a tank of gas there. Just every little bit helps. Put a little away, pay a bill, blah, blah, blah. That's what you do in the Keys. I got my fitness classes that I teach, this, and someday maybe this will provide me with a decent income. If you do like the show, please share it with your friends, family, strangers. Share it with fucking strangers. I appreciate all you listeners. And if you have any questions, please email them to me. I'm starting to get emails from people. I do appreciate it. I'd like to get some emails from some of our foreign listeners. I know we got listeners in Taiwan. I'm not familiar with your provinces there. For some reason, I don't have any in China, but I do have Taiwan's like in the top 3 of my international. There's India, which makes sense because there's India's that got 1.2 million people, 1.3 billion people, and English is one of the largest spoken languages over there. But I guess Taiwan, they maybe have a large English speaking, but I know China does too. Not as much as India, but they have a lot of Chinese speaking. And I know Taiwan considers itself China too, and they do a lot of business with the United States. I don't know how much business they do with Canada and Australia, and Canada, Australia, and United Kingdom, but I imagine it's pretty good. But I do thank you for listening. Poland, but that's relatives. Russia, St. Petersburg. I hope it's not the intelligence organizations just listening. Putin saying, listen to this podcast. I'm tired of them saying shit about me. I'd like to get some listeners in the far east of Russia, like Irkutsk, Kamchatka. I think Kamchatka is one all the way out there. It's a huge country, sparsely populated in the east. But I have St. Petersburg, and whoever it is in St. Petersburg, if you can email me, if you're not the Russian intelligence agency, I'm not looking to get hacked or anything like that. There's not much you can... I don't think I'm that interesting. And I'm certainly no Joe Rogan or anything like that. But if I do get in that rarefied territory, that'd be nice. I ran into someone that's on the radio down here, and they were saying, well, how many listeners you got? And I said, well, I don't have that. I mean, I have a couple hundred. I get like 300-400 downloads a week, which is not a lot yet. And I'm not sure if the demographics are really working accurately for me or the statistics that I get. But I do tell people, I say, listen, do you have any... You wouldn't know, would you? But do you have any listeners in other countries? Because I have, in 4 separate provinces in Taiwan, I have listeners. They download to different devices and stuff like that in different towns. And they didn't have any answer for that. I said, yeah, I got India. I have that. I have some of these other countries. Canada, it's international. So thank you. Thank you, all my listeners. Send me, remember, I am not kidding when I say this. My email address is jim@keysbartender.com. That's jim@keysbartender.com. Any questions, comments, please send them to me. Have a great day. For our American listeners, happy 4th of July. For American listeners abroad, happy 4th of July. Happy just regular 4th, the July 4th coming up to everyone else. Not that you celebrate our independence, but it is July 4th, and a lot of you in the midst of your summer. I know Poland just finished up a week ago or 2 weeks ago. They're schooling. Not the whole country finished their schooling, but their schools let out there. So I guess they may start later. But we have probably the longest holidays, the summer holiday. Thank you very much, and have a great day. Let's turn that music back on.